Parigraja Asto Tarasatasi Shriman His Divine Grace Gopal Krishna Goswami Srila Bhagavad Ki Jai Nichalila Pravishto Vishnu Pad Paramhamsa Parigraja Acharya Asto Tarasatasi Shriman His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nichalila Pravishto Vishnu Pad Paramhamsa Parigraja Acharya Asto Tadasati Shishimad is Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Shalavidas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Ganga Mai Ki Jai Yamuna Mai Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Shri Mashura Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Navadip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai ISKCON Scarborough Ki Jai Shri Gornitai Ki Jai Shri Radha Gopi Vallabha Ki Jai Shri Jagannath Shri Baladev Shrimati Subhadra Maharani Ki Jai Shri Lakshmi Nrsimha Bhagwan Ki Jai Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Nitai Gaura Premanandi All glories to the assembled devotees All glories to the assembled devotees All glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga All glories to Shri Prabhupada Namo
Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirmashesha Sunyamadi
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
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 Namaskrityam Naram Chaivam Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam you might have all heard of the sudden passing of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. So the GBC has issued a letter that they recommended that we read at all the temples across ISKCON today. So I'll read that. It's a message from the executive committee of the governing body. So when Srila Prabhupada established ISKCON, he followed a process that his Guru Maharaj suggested. So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Goswami Maharaj established 64 months in India, Gaudiya months in India. And he recommended to his disciples that they should form a governing body, and this governing body should manage the affairs of all the months. And so no one followed that system. And when Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj left this planet, all the months they divided up. And he had a vision of spreading this Krishna consciousness movement all across the world. Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj envisioned that he would send Brahmacaris all over the world to establish this Gaudiya Vaishnava system and train people on how to surrender to Lord Krishna and how to offer service to him. So he started off by sending some disciples to London, England, because India had just gotten out of, actually no, it was still a colony of Great Britain at the time. Those devotees went. There was a couple of sannyasis. They went there, they spent little time, they had maybe 1 or 2 classes, and they returned to India, and they told Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj, it is not possible. It is not possible to preach to these white people. They will not listen. So, Srila Prabhupada was just coming up then within the Gaudiya Vaishnava society, and he was a great businessman. He had a pharmaceutical company that he started, and he also had, some disposable income that he could donate. And so his godbrothers were constantly pestering him to donate and do things. And so in those days, they called Prabhupada Abai Babu. So they said, so this message came to Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj. He said, leave Abai Babu alone. In due course of time, he will do everything. And so we all know the story of Srila Prabhupada. He came to America in 1965 with 40 rupees, a bag of books, like a little briefcase, the little metal crates, you see them in India, they sell them in the market, a metal trunk. He had already translated 3 volumes of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, so he brought those with him, and a typewriter, and a bag of cereal. So this puffed rice cereal, in Bengal they call it muri. I think they have other names for it in other parts of India. So this is what Srila Prabhupada brought. He didn't know where he would stay, because he came on a cargo ship. Nowadays we fly on jumbo jets, and or if we're going on a ship, we'll go in style. We go on a cruise ship. But Srila Prabhupada came on a cargo ship, and his room that he stayed in was right next to the engine room. So every clang, every bang that the engine made, he could hear it and feel the vibration. And he suffered 2 heart attacks along the way. But yet he was determined. And he came because his guru ordered him. He had no place to stay. He didn't know where his next meal would come from. Just imagine, if you put yourself in his shoes. Prabhupada just wore dhoti and kurta. My kurta and dhoti is a little bit thick. But in India, devotees buy very, very thin. Like you could practically see through. Because it's so hot like it is there right now. Right now I think it's like 45 degrees or something. So that's how Prabhupada came. And he wore those plastic shoes that you see in the markets in India. They sell them for 2 rupees. They look like Aladdin's shoes with a little point. They curl up in a little point in the front. I guess the people who were on drugs when Prabhupada came must have thought this was Aladdin. That's right. Let me rub you for some good luck. So this is how Prabhupada came. He came in September. So yeah, we know September here, right? Even today it's a little cool. So September, it's already starting to get cold. Prabhupada came, he had nothing. And then after a few months, his typewriter, everything was stolen. He had a dicta machine that he would dictate and then translate and type it up. Everybody know what a typewriter is?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have one.
Nowadays, young people don't know what a typewriter is. So you go, the cling is when you get to the end of the sentence, and the little carriage goes to the end, and then there's a little lever and you press it, and then it comes back, and then you type again. So this Srila Prabhupada came, and he had certain plan of how he wanted the society to unfold and grow. And as we know, Srila Prabhupada only had a very short time with us. When he came in 65, he spent 11 years, and then he went back to Godhead. But he found of all the disciples that he accumulated, he found some of them who had some capabilities. He could see, you know, Prabhupada could see certain things. So he could see those who had capabilities, and he would push them, press them, and encourage them, and put them to work for Krishna. So one of those people was Gopal Krishna Maharaj. Prabhupada had some ideas of temples that he wanted to build in India, specifically in certain cities. So he wrote to him and he told them, you can stay in Bombay, but that's what they called it in those days, today they call it Mumbai. You can stay in Bombay and you can build a temple in Delhi, and you can build a temple in Kurukshetra, and you can build a temple in Mayapur. But he wanted him to build not just one temple in Delhi, he wanted him to build 10 temples in Delhi. Because he said Delhi is the most important city in the world. Right? And we know that, it's historical. What was the previous name of Delhi? Hastinapur. So Hastinapur was the seat of the emperor of the earth. So Maharaj Yudhishthira, who was the emperor of earth, his seat of power was in Hastinapur. And after him, Maharaj Parikshit was the emperor of the world. That's where his seat of power was. So in Vedic terms, this is the most important city. So Prabhupada wanted many temples built there. So I'll just read the message that the executive committee gave. And then considering everything that happened in the last few days, didn't get a chance to kind of think about what I will say today. So we can do a couple of different ways. I could just open the Bhagavad Gita and see which page it opens to, and then that will be what we speak about today. Or you can ask questions, or maybe pick a topic, and we can discuss it. So, but I'll start with this message from the GBC executive. Dear Maharajas and Prabhus. So GBC is the governing body commission of ISKCON. So Srila Prabhupada established this system, as I mentioned earlier, that his Guru Maharaj ordered his disciples to do, and they never did. So when Srila Prabhupada came here and he established ISKCON, he made sure, the first few years, he ran everything by himself. Maybe from 66 was when ISKCON was incorporated in New York, and then it started spreading after that. And in 1972, he established the governing body commission, and he chose 11 devotees, and he made them what's called governing body commissioners. So they broke up the world into zones, and each person was responsible for temples and spiritual development within that zone, and also for caring for devotees within those zones. So, so this message is from the GBC Executive Committee. Dear Maharajas and Prabhus, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This morning, so this was like yesterday morning. No, it's Sunday morning, so Sunday morning Indian time. This morning at 9:20 a.m. IST, Indian Standard Time, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami sorry, I thought I could do this. one of the senior-most disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada departed from this world. Maharaj is a pillar of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Sorry. And has served tirelessly in practically every leadership capacity to support and expand the mission of his spiritual master. Even before his first meeting with Srila Prabhupada in Montreal, Canada, in 1968, Maharaj, known as Gopal Krishna from his very birth, was given service of cleaning and preparing Srila Prabhupada's room for his arrival. Since then, Maharaj has literally and figuratively dedicated his life to keeping Srila Prabhupada's house in order. Srila Prabhupada immediately took great interest in the thoughtful young Indian man who sat attentively through every lecture, and they soon began regular correspondence. Soon thereafter, Srila Prabhupada initiated Maharaj as Gopal Krishna Das, and thus began a lifetime of service beyond compare. Maharaj served for years as Srila Prabhupada's personal secretary. And was appointed by Prabhupada as the governing body commissioner in 1975 with responsibility to oversee all of ISKCON India. Srila Prabhupada thereafter entrusted Maharaj with the task to so dear to his heart, printing of his transcendental books. From that time, Maharaj had been an emblem of book distribution, sharing Krishna consciousness, building beautiful temples, and managing the international affairs of Srila Prabhupada's mission. All the while remaining a gentle, humble Vaishnava who always has a moment to encourage others with his genuine care and affection. In addition, Maharaj's sadhana is impeccable, often on the temple altar offering Mangala Arti to the deities before completing the morning program, taking a japa walk, and then worshipping his own deities prior to commencing a day full of dynamic service. His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj personified all that is at the heart of ISKCON and will remain eternally revered and loved by his matchless service, dedication, and expertise in knowing and serving Srila Prabhupada's will. We can only pray that we may each be blessed with a drop of such courage, focus, and sincerity to serve, though never will the void of his physical presence be filled in our hearts or our society. Our hearts and heads remain at the feet of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, a most exemplary disciple, devotee, God brother, spiritual master and friend. Maharaj has always encouraged us to work together cooperatively to support and assist each other in Srila Prabhupada's service. In that mood of service, we offer our affectionate prayers and support to Maharaj's disciples and all those bereft of Maharaj's absence. We encourage you to take shelter of Maharaj's instructions, an example of focused sadhana and service in the association of our ISKCON family. His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Your servants, Guru Prasad Swami, who is the chairman of the GBC this year, Tapan Mishra Das, Govardhan Das, and the GBC Executive Committee. Also, there was one written by there's a regional GBC body for North America, and they wrote a short message. Just to let you know, since Gopal Krishna Maharaj was a leader in North America for many years, and since he has many disciples all over the world, and since he is one of the most senior members of the GBC, his disappearance is significant for many devotees. Please know that it is acceptable and appropriate for us to honor him in some way at our Sunday program today, if that is something you would like to do. In speaking with some of the temple presidents and GBCs, I've learned that some are dedicating the kirtan to Gopal Krishna Maharaj, some are dedicating the whole program, and some will have a garland portrait on an easel. Some will have a small picture of Srila Prabhupada's feet, as we did today. And for some, it is too short notice, and they will do something next week. Please offer your support to the disciples and other impacted devotees as the devotees need. So, Maharaj was asked by the GBC body to act, since he lived in Canada for many years before joining ISKCON. They asked him to be GBC for Canada. So he's been a GBC for Canada since 1981 till today. So he visited ISKCON Scarborough several times as GBC, and he performed an initiation ceremony here once. It was Srimati Mataji, her husband, Nimai Nitai Prabhu, not Nimai Nitai, what's his name? I forget his name. And a couple other devotees, they got initiated right here. There was an initiation ceremony performed here by Keshava Senior Prabhu. And that was in 2010 or 2011. So he was attending. So in India is a little bit different than the rest of the world. In India, there's only one society called ISKCON, and that was registered by Srila Prabhupada in Bombay in the early 70s, maybe 70 or 71. And all the temples that have grown up, all the ISKCON temples that have grown up in India since then, are all affiliates of that one main organization. So for our business people in the crowd here, they do a financial statement every year, and they pass it to the head office in Bombay, and they amalgamate it into a consolidated financial statement, and they file that with the government, and that's how it works administratively. So Srila Prabhupada gave us the instructions that whatever country you live in, as a temple, as a society, we should follow the laws of that country. person. He knew and understood, because he was a businessman for many years in India, so he understood what it meant to, to be disciplined in your administrative. Again, I see we have some devotees here who have businesses and they're nodding in agreement, because they know, they understand if you don't keep these things in order, your business can easily be finished. We have to keep our eye on every little aspect. And so like that, when he created society, he created in such a way that an eye was kept on every aspect, including the manpower. In our case, it's devotee power. So Prabhupada was very concerned about taking care of devotees. Right? One time, some devotees were sitting with Srila Prabhupada and they were lamenting about someone who had left the society. And Prabhupada made a very profound statement. He said, don't be surprised at those who leave. Be surprised at those who stay.
Wow.
Right? Because it's not easy. Maya Devi is there. She is doing a fantastic job. Right? Even when we're sleeping, she's working on us. So the representation of Maya Devi is Durga Devi. Right? This material world is called Durga, which means a prison. And each prison needs a warden. So the warden of the prison is Durga Devi. And she sits on her lion, and in one hand she has a whip. And that's meant for us to whip us into shape. So she does a great job. And if we are not careful, we could easily get lured by her. And we might have heard the story of Vashishta Muni. He sat in meditation for 10,000 years, and then he heard some jingle, and everything went to naught. Right? So he is a great devotee, a great associate of the Lord. He is there. He actually saw the Lord with his own two eyes. He took their lordships somewhere and got them married. You know who that is? Anyone know? Yes. So he took Ram and Lakshman to Mother Sita's place of birth, or where she lived. Well, she never took birth. Does everyone know that she never took birth? How was she? How
She was
did
found.
She come here?
She was found.
Sorry. Yes, she was found underground in a beautiful little box. She was found by her adopted father, Dasrath. Sorry, Dasrath? Is it Dasrath? Or Daksha? That's Dasrath? Okay. Okay, not Daksha. What's the difference between Daksha and Dasrath? Janak, yes.
Janak.
What was the difference between Dasrath and Daksha? Daksha had a very beautiful head, right? And a goat's head was given to him by who?
Shiva. Lord Shiva.
Lord Shiva, yes. So, so just coming back to our discussion, spiritual life is very difficult to maintain if we don't work on it. Right? If someone wants to save some money for their retirement, they put it in an account and they're always keeping an eye, make sure that it's growing somehow. Right? If they find that they can grow it better somewhere else, they will move it to that locale or that vehicle and put it there to continue growing. So this is how we have to grow our spiritual life. Right? We have to look to see how can we improve every moment of the day. What is it that I can do that will help me to improve on what I'm doing currently? what do we need to do to avoid being stagnant? Stagnant means it doesn't move, right? Yes, we're coming every day and chant Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, but are we moving beyond that? Right? Narad Muni says, the Yoga Dharma for Kali Yoga is Hare Kirtan. So yeah, we come and we sing Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, but are we making some spiritual advancement beyond that? So this is what we have to keep constantly, keeping that thought process there so that we can continue to make progress in spiritual life. And we do need to make progress, because if we don't, then we will be left here and we'll have to come again. So it's explained in scriptures that there are 8,400,000 species of life in this universe. And we have to go through each one of them. Well, we don't have to go through them. We can take shortcuts. But taking shortcuts means developing a spiritual life. A tiger cannot chant Hare Krishna. A tiger cannot do Hare Kirtan. Right? Even though the tiger may be somewhat aware, they still can't do. And do we have an example of that? Does anyone know of an example of an animal who is fully aware, but couldn't chant, and couldn't make it?
My pet.
I wasn't thinking about your pet, but I was thinking about someone mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Yes, Bharat Maharaj in the form of a deer. So this earth was named after him. Bharatvarsh is named after Bharat Maharaj. And Bharat Maharaj was such a just king. So he retired from being a king and moved to the forest to do his bhajan. And I won't tell you the entire story because you probably all know it, or if you don't, you have Srimad Bhagavatam over there. You can acquire a set and read for yourself and understand what the message is that is being presented.
In which canto?
I will let you do that research. You have to get the whole set though.
Yeah. I'm
Because
planning.
if I tell you which
It's in my
canto, you might
plans.
only ask for that one. And we don't want to break a set.
No, I won't buy the whole set.
Yes.
It's planned. I'm planning.
Okay. So we have Prabhu at the back there. He can help you. Look, he's put his hands up.
Yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
it. I've seen it.
Don't look, don't just leave it as it is on the shelf. Take it home and read it and imbibe it. Try to understand the message and then put it into practice. That's why Srila Prabhupada came here. He didn't come here to sell books. Right? He didn't come here to accumulate disciples. He didn't come here to make money. He didn't come to do any of those things. What he did come to do was share this knowledge. That's all he came to do. Share the knowledge. And hopefully if we take it and we imbibe it, we try to understand it, we try to figure out what exactly, and if we can't figure it out, there are three spiritual authorities, Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So Shastra are the books, Bhagavad Gita is Shastra. And we can inquire from Guru and Sadhu, what does this mean if we don't understand ourselves? And then how do I put this into practice? And if we can do that, then we make our lives perfect. So Bharat Maharaj saw this deer and that lost its mother, and he took that deer and nursed it and kept it, and he thought about the deer all the time. And then at the time of death, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, what does Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita about death?
Whatever you think, you become that. Something like that?
Something like that, yeah. But do you know the Sanskrit?
I don't think so.
Anta kale chamam evam yo iti tatvata Tyaktya deham punarjanma naiti mamiti sorja. He said, one who thinks of me alone, very important. One who thinks of me alone, upon leaving this body, return to my transcendental abode origin. And in the very next shloka, what does he say? Maybe you know that next shloka? The one that comes immediately after this one. The fourth chapter. He says, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam, tajate yante kalevaram, tam tam eva ishasi konteya, sanatan bhava bhavivam. He said, and whatever else one thinks of at the time of death, that's what they will attain. So he doesn't want us to forget. You know, sometimes we're talking with someone and we talk about so many different things, and then after the conversation we forget half of it. Right? So here, this Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavad represents Lord Krishna, Gita means like song or words. So the word of the Lord to Arjuna is that think of me only and you will come to me. But if you think of something else, that's what will happen to you. Being very, very specific. So Bharat Maharaj was thinking of a deer, and the next life he took the body of a deer. But because of the mercy of the Lord, he was so fortunate that he was able, even though he was in the body of a deer, he was able to remember his previous life. And in his previous life he was king. And now look what happened. So what did he do? He seeked out sadhus. Where are the sadhus? And when he find the sadhus, they were sitting in their bhajan kutir, reading scriptures, and he is there outside listening. Prahlad Maharaj tells us that there are 9 processes of bhakti. And the first is called Shravanam, listening, hearing. And the second is Kirtanam, right? These are the 2 most important, so they come first. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Bhada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Satyam, Atmanivedanam. Vandanam, Atmanivedanam, Vandanam means bowing down. So, as a deer, he heard, and this way he could constantly remember. So Vishnu Smaranam, remembering Lord Vishnu. And by remembering, he wasn't able to speak, so he can't do what Krishna says, call my name, think of me. He says, think of me, Smaranam, right? He says, Antakale Chamamam, Smaran Mukva. So think of me only. So he thought of Lord, and next life he became Janabharat. And he remembered his previous 2 lives. So in Bhagavatam it mentions, again in Bhagavatam, it mentions, I'm going to tell you this one, in the 3rd canto, I'll give you a freebie. In the 3rd canto, Lord Kapila Dev is speaking to his mother Devahuti, and he's talking about the migration of the soul from the time it enters the mother's body, whether it's a human body or an animal body or whatever body, and how it develops, whether it's come in the form of an egg or whatever, however a life form comes in that particular species, and how it develops and how it goes through. But he was talking mostly about human life. And it's something actually we should read and try to understand, think about, because it talks about what happens to the soul, one who does not surrender to the Lord, and who is steeped in Maya, in performing karmic activities. What happens to that soul? They get visited by Yamaraj's dutas, they call Yamadutas. And they arrest them. They arrest that soul in the form of a crate. The crate is about the size of a thumb. And drag them through different grades of hell on the way to Yamapuri, the court of Yamaraj, who is sitting there waiting to offer their punishment based on their activity. Karma is our activity. So based on our karma, based on our activity, we prepare ourselves for our next life. It's not, God is not mean. God is not angry. God is not vindictive. God is our Father. And if a child leaves home, no matter how bad that child might be, the parents are always thinking about their welfare. How are they doing? I hope, they're able to eat, or they're having proper place to stay, they're not being exploited, or whatever it is we think. That thought process is there. So where do we get that from? We get that from the Supreme Lord. In the Bible it says, God made man in his own image. So God is not invisible. He is visible, he has a form. Right? There are three aspects mentioned in Bhagavad Gita of the Lord. Bhagwan, Paramatma, and Brahman. So Brahman is the impersonal, it's not an impersonal so much, it's the effulgence from the body of the Lord. So even when we see the sun, today we can't see it, it's hiding. But we see the sun yesterday, it was nice and out. So the sun is actually Surya Dev, not Surya Dev, but Surya Narayan. So Surya Narayan is a form of Lord Narayan in this big ball of fire. And he sits on the crown of Surya Dev. And Surya Dev sits in a chariot, and he circumambulates Mount Meru, which is situated in the middle of the universe. And as this chariot is galloping around Mount Meru, there's day and night in different parts of the universe. So this Surya Narayan is not as bright as the effulgence that emanates from the body of Lord Krishna. So Lord Krishna is sitting at the top of the spiritual world in that lotus called Goloka Vrindavan. And from there, you can see effulgence going in every direction. And that effulgence completely illuminates the spiritual world. This is known as Brahman. So those who think of the Lord as being impersonal, He still gives them something. If we sit in meditation for 10,000 years, we will get something. So it's not like you get nothing. You get something. So we get to merge into that effulgence of the Lord, the Brahman. But we all have desires. And when one has a desire, they try to act out that desire in whatever way, whatever that desire is. There's an object of the desire. And then we try to lord it over that object, whatever that object is. Someone wants to have a good job, or lots of money, or a Lexus versus a Chevy, or a big fancy mansion versus a little apartment, or whatever, their desires are, and they try to act it out, and they will work like crazy to get money so that they can achieve that desire. But what are we doing for the spiritual side of ourselves? Are we doing anything for that? Material side is there, that's needed. As long as we have these bodies, yes, we have to work, we have to have some money, we have to eat, we have to have some place to live. But is that all there is? Right? So now we have to understand what else is there. And if the other is our spiritual side, that's what we need to work on, because we're not working on that side. And when we die, all the money and the wealth and everything that we have, someone once says, coffins don't have pockets. You can't take it with you. The Egyptians tried that, it didn't work. Now they're opening up their pyramids, and they're finding all this stuff. Or the Chinese, they're finding these terracotta armies of millions and millions of soldiers guarding a dead king with all of his wealth there. We can't take it with us. But what we can take with us is our activity, our good activities, our good karma. And that will help us in the next life, just like Bharat Maharaj got help in his following lives. Similarly, we can get help. So I think my time is up, and we didn't actually get to open the Bhagavad Gita, but at least we heard a couple verses from the Bhagavad Gita. Thank you very much. My Bhagavad Gita. Shri Lakshmi Narasimha Bhagwan.